What's going on, Jeromes? So ESPN, the worldwide bleeder of viewers, readers, and subscribers, generally frenemies of the Vikings. Well, not even frenemies, just enemies, right? But they did up a piece today, NFC North quarterback with the most approved, top rookie, and rising coach. And it's actually pretty fair to the Vikings. So respect in that regard. First up, asked about which quarterback who has the most approved. Now, there's a lot of Caleb Williams. There's a lot of Jordan Loves in there, which, by the way, Jordan Loves really does skate by. He really does tiptoe through the tulips in terms of criticism. Like, he got that massive contract and massively inconsistent, and it's just, I don't know, like any other team, he'd be getting read the riot act, but yeah. Anyways, Rob Demoski. J.E. McCarthy, the national narrative has been that Love regressed in year 2 as a starter. Yes. Something both Love and the Packers coach Matt LaFleur have pushed back on this offseason, but he's probably number 3 on the NFC North prove-it list behind McCarthy and the Bears' Caleb Williams. It seems like the expectation is that coaching change in Chicago will mean Williams flips. Hey, all right, so let's talk about J.J. McCarthy, but have the first 2 paragraphs to be about not J.J. McCarthy. Blah, blah, blah. Flips switch, but really there's a grace period when there's a new coach, so give them time. Just another excuse for Caleb Williams. What happens when Ben Johnson's fired after 2 years and Caleb Williams heading into year 4 wanting some more? But he's got a new coach. Miss Scusi. But McCarthy should be at the top of this list because the Vikings have been and are expected to remain a playoff team. Baloney. Which national media people are out there like, hey, the Vikings, they need to make the playoffs again, otherwise there's pressure, blah, blah, blah. Over-under, reset to 8.5. Okay. A playoff team despite turning to a quarterback who hasn't played an NFL snap yet. Oh, please. Please. Again, Vikings won 14 games last year with Sam Darnold and a worse interior offensive line and a worse running game. And the defense also got better, by the way, which is kind of hard to imagine. But McCarthy just has to be a caretaker here. He could be the game manager. He does not have to be that dude. Like, all the pressure is on Jordan Love. All the pressure is on Caleb Williams to prove that he's the number 1 pick, and would love to prove that he's worth that damn contract. Also, what about Jared Goff, huh? For all these years, we've been talking about. Hey, the Lions actually won the Matthew Stafford trade because they got Jared Goff. How? No, seriously, Stafford, for years, wasting his career again in Detroitville, right? And all of a sudden, first year, he is free from Detroit. He wins a Super Bowl with Kevin O'Connell as his OC, by the way. Huh? All right, so where's the pressure on Jared Goff? Huh? Also, as we said, if they didn't blow that NFC title lead against the 49ers 2 years ago, they probably beat the bejesus out of the Chiefs. Like, the Lions should have won a Super Bowl, but they're not, because that Super Bowl window closed because they lost Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. Other than that, please. Next, which front office won the offseason? Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt, going to bat for Kwesi. Minnesota surrounded McCarthy with one of the most experienced roosters in the league, courtesy of a cash expenditure of $341 million in 2025, according to roster management system. General Manager Kwesi adofo-mensah elevated multiple areas of weakness by acquiring 3 no starters on the offensive line. Donovan Jackson, first round, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and 2 on the defensive line, Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, along with a skilled number 2 running back in Jordan Mason, but really number 1. And remember, basically traded Ed Ingram for Jordan Mason. That's not talked about enough. Kwesi, build this man a statue. Although some of the new veterans have recent injury histories, there are a few holes. There are a few holes in the presumptive starting lineup. Actually, where are the holes? Hey, Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who is not Carl Gerbschmidt. Where are the holes? Where? Tight end 3? Is that the hole? Oh, where's the hole on defense? Oh, but what about the cornerbacks? Cornerbacks going to be fine. Safety's going to be fine. I don't know. Anyways, next. Which key assistant coach is most likely to be in the 2026 head coach cycle? Courtney Cronin, former Vikings beat writer, now with Chicago. Vikings defense coordinator Brian Flores, if the Vikings defense performs as well as it did in 2024, tied for first in turnovers, second in EPA per play, 5th in points allowed. Expect Flores' name to once again circulate in the head coaching cycle. Flores interviewed for 3 jobs last year: Bears, Jets, Jaguars, and was a head coach before with the Dolphins. Whether teams have the desire to hire Flores with his ongoing lawsuit against the NFL and public fallout from the relationship with Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, to turn the ball over and whine all the time, especially teams that have young quarterbacks or are looking to draft one remains to be seen. Now, we've talked about the deal with Flores. So first off, it's not just his lawsuit. It's part of a class action lawsuit by a number of coaches. That's why he can't just drop it, because he's part of that class action suit. The whole thing would have to be dropped. So I feel like his lawsuit is unfairly characterized. And frankly, I think that the lawyers may be using Flores, but that's an argument for another day. And with Flo with Miami, so you got to think about who Flores' boss was with the Patriots. Bill Belichick, right? And it does seem like Flores, who sort of gruff by nature, tried to emulate the Belichick way. We're on to Cincinnati. My girlfriend's 24. But the whole thing about it is that it didn't work out, right? Because you have to be yourself. And Flores, even though he's more on the gruff side, we've seen coaches try to do the Belichick thing. Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, it doesn't work, right? And Flo, I think Flores' year, with Tomlin in Pittsburgh, as well as his time here in Minnesota, working with Kevin O'Connell, seeing the way that O'Connell, even though yes, a former quarterback, relates to his quarterbacks, I think Flo, I think he's pulled a 180. Obviously, he's still a defensive mastermind, but if and when he's given another crack at being a head coach, like, his relationship with his quarterback is going to be much better, because I think that he saw, the Brady Belichick sort of cold professional relationship. He tried to do that with Tua, and then Tua obviously didn't take to it because Tua is soft. And then he sees how Kevin O'Connell related with Sam Darnold last year, Kirk Cousins the year before that, and now J.J. McCarthy. Like, Flores is picking things up, and I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic if and when he gets another head coaching job, which I think he should, but selfishly, I hope he stays here for a little bit longer. Next, also in that same vein of quarterback who's going to be a head coach, Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gershman, who's not. Vikings quarterbacks coach Josh McCown. As wild as it sounds, the 2024 season was McCown's first full season as an NFL assistant coach. He opted against interviewing for offensive coordinator positions, but still got an interview for the New York Jets head coaching job. McCown has long been on the league's radar, having interviewed for the Texans' top job in 2022. They wanted to give him the job, too. Like, they were chomping at the bit to really get into the McCown business. And if McCarthy performs well in 2025, McCown might be able to skip the coordinator level altogether. Now, that's not unprecedented. Andy Reid went from quarterbacks coach in Green Bay to head coach of the Eagles, and of course, that's worked out. All right, and McCown just seems like a head coach, right? So he's got that bearing. Former longtime backup quarterback, as well as a shatterer of Vikings playoff dreams way back in the day. No. Although the push-off rule is stupid. Push-out rule. Anyways, but McCown, I think that, again, Wes Phillips getting no respect, which is kind of odd, but I think that Wes Phillips could be in that mix as well if and when the Vikings offense is one of the top of the league. But McCown is going to be a hot name because teams, this is also what's working against Flores too, because teams are looking for the young offensive guy. Because offense sells everything, and Flores being an older defensive guy, or a middle-aged defensive guy who's already had one crack at being a head coach, who knows? Who knows, man? But especially the Kevin O'Connell quarterback whisperer, everyone wants some of that. So McCown being a branch off of that tree certainly could happen. Lastly, name an underrated, name an unheralded player or unit that will impact the division title. Courtney Cronin, again, former Vikings beat writer. The Vikings O-line. So Cronin was here for a while. So she saw the offensive line when it was bad. Like Charlie Johnson bad. No one truly knows how well McCarthy will fare under pressure until we see how he handles an NFL pass rush. So the Vikings went out and signed a new center, Ryan Kelly, a right guard, Will Fries, and used a first-round pick on left guard Donovan Jackson, who's for real. An upgraded unit around McCarthy in his first season bodes well for the success of the Vikings offense. And Cronin, was here during the Bradbury years. She was here during Oli Udoh at guard, that experiment. So, she knows. She fully understands. And, yes, the Vikings, for all of the moves that the Vikings made this offseason, I'm most proud of what they did along the interior, right? And you easily could have seen previous regimes, or even Kwesi at the start, just be like, oh, Bradbury, we can change him. We just need better guards around him, or stuck with the Blake Brandel thing. Well, it's only year 2, blah, 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 blah. And well, Ed Ingram's going to turn a corner in year 4. Former second-round pick. I cannot get rid of Ed Ingram because I drafted him in the second round and my ego won't allow it. But, again, traded Ed Ingram, basically got Jordan Mason for him, signed Will Fries, the highest-paid guard in free agency, got veteran center Ryan Kelly, and then spent first-round draft capital when you didn't have a lot of draft picks on interior offensive linemen. It's not the sexiest pick in the world, but you have a freaking offensive line. And I as much as we've praised the Vikings and Kwesi for that, I almost don't think that you can say it enough. It's amazing what they've done up front, and it will impact the Vikings and will impact the division. As the O-line goes, as goes McCarthy, as goes this damn team. Yeah. Anyways, but overall, like ESPN, they're actually kind of fair, which is kind of odd. I feel itchy. I don't like it. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings on ESPN's list of most approved, rising coaches, G unit, etc. Let us know your thoughts, comment section. You guys, the best thing to do. Skull production value.